Welcome to another edition of the Monday Night Wars. This time it's the WCW Week 79, the 84th episode of Nitro, but the 79th week they go head-to-head with WWF Raw. Nitro beats Raw for the 41st week in a row. The scores for this week were 3.4 for Nitro, 2.8 for Raw. So through 79 weeks, Nitro has 60 wins, WWF has 17, and 2 draws. This is the Nitro with a 3.4 rating. For the first hour of Nitro, it's the living legend Larry Zbyszko doing color with Tony Schiavone as the play-by-play man. Mike Tenay and Bobby the Brain Heenan will join Schiavone after Zbyszko goes for the second hour, assuming the New World Order don't break the tandems up. We open up with a shot of James J. Dillon arriving outside of a limo, obviously for something big as Nitro. The Nitro video package plays. 5 pyro fills the jam-packed arena. This is live on TNT from the Saginaw Civic Center in Saginaw, Michigan, April 21st, 1997. Tony says we have a jam-packed 2 hours and we're ready to go as Dean Malenko will defend the U.S. title against Yuji Nagata to open things up. Nagata opened the show, coming face-to-face with the man of 1,000 holds. Malenko, the defending U.S. champion in the match. A go-behind and a cartwheel before a single-leg pickup against Nagata. Malenko with a drop toe hold into a modified crossface into a reverse chinlock. A standing switch and a go-behind then by Malenko and Yuji Nagata both. And then an enziguri on to Malenko by Yuji Nagata. Malenko then with a pickup and a vertical suplex after a crossbody. They show Reggie White in the crowd. Nagata gets a face to rake to Malenko and Yuji Nagata with a vertical maintains his vertical base, getting up from the standing position as Malenko loves to wear down body parts on the mat. Yuji Nagata got away and he hit a high spinning heel kick. Malenko Irish whip to the corner, catches a standing side kick as well. Malenko hit with a release suplex by Yuji Nagata, then a near fall. Standing switches back and forth, and Malenko hit with an overhead belly to belly as Yuji Nagata tried to hook the tights. Didn't work. Malenko was fighting back, and in the end, he applies the Texas Cloverleaf to retain the title. Really good match here for the time it went. Lots of quality. I rated it 3 stars. Unlike the next match, which was just quick and in squash fashion, Glacier took on Cyclope, or Cyclope. Not sure how they pronounce that, but it's spelled C-I-C-L-O-P-E. So whatever word, Cyclope, Cyclops, Cyclope, could have been anything. Glacier is undefeated, and he took it on Cyclope. With a side heel kick, we'll go with Cyclope. That's how it's spelled, so. In under 30 seconds-ish, a side kick gets it done, and Glacier remains undefeated. It's like real-life Mortal Kombat coming to life as Mortis comes in and attacks Glacier, then a big man with a mask. He takes it off, and it looks like Adam Clark, or Brian Clark, I want to say. Brian Adams' is partner in Chronic. I think that's Wrath. I think his name was Wrath, but I believe it's Brian Clark. That's the man with the mask. Anyway, he joined Mortis, the man with the mask, and took on Glacier after the bell started beating him down, after Glacier beat Cyclope. So that's what happened. I rated it a 1/4 star because I don't like to give out duds. Nick Patrick, the biased NWO ref, comes to the commentary table in normal clothing, not NWO, says he would like to apologize to the people in WCW. He said when he joined the NWO, he thought he could have a voice, but now the people he trusted are the people he went against. The people he thought he could trust are now against him, rather, like Bischoff and Randy Savage. Nick Patrick says he still worked even when injured. Bottom line is Patrick is still here, that if WCW gives him the opportunity, he'll be there. And Zbyszko says, so you stabbed us in the back and now you want us to rejoin you? Sure, why don't you got to use car for me to buy? That's what Zbyszko said to him after. So, Nick Patrick pleading to be back on the good side with WCW. Ultimo Dragon defending his TV title with Sonny Ono against Bobby Eaton. Television title on the line. Ultimo Dragon was one of the most underrated wrestlers ever. He's up there with Malenko in my opinion. Ahead of guys like Juventud, Psychosis. Those guys are all great, but Ultimo Dragon is special. I always felt that. He gets lost in the shuffle sometimes with the likes of Psychosis and Juventud. Look, that's fine because both guys are excellent. But Ultimo Dragon is just a little bit ahead, in my opinion. Ultimo Dragon in pink against Eaton in blue. High thrust kicks, including a jumping, spinning heel kick. Ultimo Dragon with a high thrust kick, then a drop kick off the Dragon Sleeper, and he makes Eaton dap to the Dragon Sleeper. as he retains that TV title. I rated it a 1.5 stars. Regal says at Slamboree it's about bloody time he gets his TV title rematch with the Ultimo Dragon. It's not really a rematch. He used to be TV champion, but Prince Aoki beat him. Ultimo Dragon beat Prince Aoki, so now Ultimo Dragon has the title. Regal wants it back, but he didn't lose it to Dragon. That was Prince Aoki. Meng with Jimmy Hart took on Chris Jericho. He clobbered at Jericho in this match. Hit a belly-to-back suplex, and a moonsault was dropped. Meng hung Jericho on the ropes. He caught him with a choke, and then that's it. A big choke to the throat of Chris Jericho gets it done. I love Meng, but they botched a few moves in this match, so I can only give it a star. They botched 3 or 4 moves in the span of a minute. Meng tried to take a moonsault from Jericho, and he just stood there. He was supposed to go down. He just stood there, and yeah, it was just awkward and sloppy. Jimmy Hart and Sullivan talked about Meng meeting Benoit at Slamboree. Jacqueline and Sullivan talked trash and talked about Karma coming towards Benoit. The Public Enemy, Johnny Grunge. I wonder if that Karma ever met up with Benoit. I'm not sure. The Public Enemy, Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock took on the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner. Rocco Rock, I hate to joke about that, and Johnny Grunge to a no contest with the Steiners after they cleared the ring, as there was a big Michigan chant, as that's where the Steiners are from. Conan and Hugh Morris, the Dungeon of Doom, came out and attacked the Steiners. So what happened was the Public Enemy and the Steiners fought together. I rated the tag match 2.25 stars while it lasted, but they ended up fighting the Dungeon of Doom away from the ring. J.J. Dillon come out and says he has no authority to overrule Bischoff, but he says that Bischoff can't do what he thinks he can do and just throw his weight around everywhere. Bischoff says, "You want to fire me, but you can't," as Bischoff walks out. He has a stubble on his beard, and he's doing his best Jerry Maguire impressions. And that was a big movie at the time. Bischoff says, "Bite me." And then he says, "I'm running the NWO. I made WCW the #1 wrestling company in the world. Tell me I'm wrong." And they couldn't tell him he was wrong. So they're just saying his authority is under watch. Jeff Jarrett took on Scotty Riggs. No idea why Riggs is still coming out to the American Males entrance theme song. That's what it does. Yeah, it repeats that. He's not in the American Males tag team. Hasn't been for like a year. Anyways, Jarrett bins him with the figure 4 and an enziguri after Mongo came out with the briefcase. Reggie White steps in Mongo and intercepts the briefcase as we got a Bears-Packers kind of showdown in the entrance aisle. 6 with Kevin Nash took on Rey Mysterio Jr. for the Cruiserweight title. Nice little match here, 2.25 stars. Reyes took it out on a stretcher as Nash and Six are abusing their power. Fans chanted for Sting. J.J. Dillon comes out after Six was making Rey submit, and Six kept going, "Or what? Or what?" The NWO's music hit, and no Hall or Hogan like there hasn't been for weeks. But Nash and everybody comes out. Six gets on the mic and says he doesn't say too much, but he heard Flair say some things that made him think. And he basically calls Flair has been and tells him he ripped off Buddy Rogers, his good name. Then Nash comes out and says one of the best promos he's ever cut. Nash really just goes personal about Ric Flair, and he just cuts one of the best promos he's ever cut. I'll say it like that. Nash talked about how Piper left the WWF and how they had to carry his weight up in New York, and now that they're down in Atlanta, it's the same thing, only they've turned it into a better society, the NWO. DDP defeats Psychosis. Kimberly points to DDP. I gave it a 1/4 star. After the match, Diamond Dallas Page and Randy Savage get on the microphone. They taunt each other. The show ends with Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, and Kevin Green in the ring. All of a sudden, Hall comes back. Scott Hall with the NWO. So he's going to be at Slamboree against these guys. It's going to be the NWO versus Piper, Flair, and Kevin Green with Scott Hall there as Scott Hall comes out. Fans chanted for Sting, but they didn't get Sting at the end of this Nitro. So I rated this Nitro a 6 out of 10 because it wasn't anything bad. Not average, just slightly above it. The ending was good, propelling Macho Man and Diamond Dallas Page, as well as building towards Slamboree with the likes of Kevin Green, Roddy Piper, and Ric Flair against the NWO. With the return of Scott Hall was a nice surprise. There was some decent wrestling, as I talked about. So overall, an average episode of Nitro, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. we'll see how it goes after Slamboree as we go on the road to the Great American Bash. Things will get more exciting as it goes. I'm Brett Mix, and we'll catch you on the next Nitro. I'm out.